Cek saya. Oke.
Tapi tak ada bingung.
Berdengung enggak? Tidak. Cek satu. Atau saya matikan ini suara bisa. Oke, selamat pagi. Yang kami hormati Ibu Rekan Emi Bausu. Good morning everyone, dear participants and distinguished participants. Our Honorable Ibu Rekan Emi Bausu, Ibu Dr. Sarah Pasaribu. Welcome and thank you so much for your precious time to join with our WCP program 2022 this morning. And dear Honorable our WCP Ibu Professor Yatimah binti Alias come from University Malaya. Thank you so much Ibu Prof Yatimah, who would like to give your precious time and fruitful discussion and also to support us for the WCP program 2022 and also last year 2021 and 2 years ago to 2020. So once again, thank you so much. You already give us very warm dedication and strong dedication to empower for our university, and also all of staffs can support and can changing their mind to be a higher capacity and higher capability in terms of spirit to elevate our knowledge. Again, thank you so much, Ibu Prof. Yatimah. So we can start our program this morning. Firstly, we will hear our Indonesian anthem. Silakan Pak Alberto. Ya, stand up. Okay, thank you, Sidon. Okay, well, this morning our program first we will start with opening remarks from our dean, Ibu Dekan, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, University of Sumatera Utara. Time is yours, Ibu Dr. Sarah Pasaribu.
Ada dua.
Izin, Prof.
Ya.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Warm greeting to all participants. Dear Honorable, yang berbahagia, our distinguished keynote speakers, Professor Dr. Yatimah with the Alias from Department of Chemistry, the Faculty of Science, University of Malaya, Vice Chancellor of Academic and International of University Malaya. We welcome you all. Bapak Elfin MS yang kami sudah join, Ketua DPP IT Serta Digital Marketing Akindo, Marketing Director Techno Cloud ID, Founder Sikondi ID. And then our honorable all participants in Zoom and who joined, how do you say that? Daring Ph.D. First of all, thank you to Almighty God who protect and save all of us, so we might join together in this seminar today. On behalf of the University of North Sumatra and the Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Science, we would like to deliver our great thanks to Professor Dr. Yatimah, who fully support the World Class Professor Program 2021, and Prof. Sigurian Ph.D. as the coordinator of WCP Program 2022. We also would like to thank the Ministry of Education, Research and Technology, Republic of Indonesia, who fully support and funding this program. World Class Professor is one of the pieces program which designed by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia. This year, two of our staff members, Prof. Sigurian, Ph.D., and Sahat Manggea from the chemistry program, alhamdulillah, succeed to complete the major program. So we deliver our congratulations to Prof. Sigurian, Ph.D. On this program, there are many activities such as fine-tuning, seminar, FGD, guest lecturer, workshop that will be conducted by Professor Sigurian and the team, of course, with the support of Prof. Yatimah. Hopefully, we might work together with strong spirit to make the vegetable program successfully completed. Dan yang tidak kalah penting, Prof. Yatimah, we hope from this program, how do you say that? How do you say that this program will be like the connecting bridge to bring our students from PhD program, master program, or undergraduate program to build up like collaboration in terms of research, seminar, etc. You know, right now, USU is like berbenah diri untuk, how to say that, Pak Rickson, untuk preparing world class university. Right now, we are in the position like 1,200, and we need like to, how to say it, speed up everything by WCP program, something like that. So, kita sangat berharap dengan bantuan Prof. Yatimah yang berasal dari ranking berapa ya Pak Rizal? 70, wow, we're proud, you know. Dari ranking 70 universitas, mudah-mudahan bisa really support us. We really appreciate it. We need your help, you know, to make all this program, world-class university program of USU bisa berhasil, sukses in the future. Saya kira itu yang bisa saya sampaikan. Hopefully we might work together with our spirit, and then finally to all participants, I say welcome to the seminar, and then silahkan join dan mendengarkan Ibu Prof. Yatimah semaksimal mungkin sehingga kita memperoleh informasi yang sebanyak-banyaknya. Demikian saja. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. Thank you, Ibu. Ada satu lagi.
Thank you again, Ibu Dr. Nusara Pasaribu, our Dean of Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences. For distinguished attendance, thank you so much for your coming and joining directly, also by online, supported by Zoom, of course. This morning is very precious time and very special day for me because surprisingly, finally I can meet directly, not by Zoom or online system. Ibu Professor Yatimah, because we already prepared more than 2 years, collaborate with lecturing and preparing paper. Yeah, even though we still hope this year we can publish together. Again, thank you so much, Ibu Yatimah. Yeah, she is a Vice Chancellor of University of Malaya, so of course she is very busy, but she gave her time to share everything that she knows, and hopefully we can catch up the fruitful things, and we can, based on that, make a new spirit to our university, each other, and vibe up the knowledge and deliver lecturing to our students. Hopefully, is better than before, right? So, WCP program supported by Ministry of Education and LPDP from Ministry of Funding. So, okay, Ibu Prof. Yatimah, she obtained Ph.D. from UK, and she is very famous. You can search her profile directly using the Googling and typing Ibu Yatimah UM, and directly you can find out her city. Well, for certain time, I give the time and place to Ibu Prof. Yatimah to deliver her presentation. Time is yours.
Thank you, Prof. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning. Yang berbahagia, Ibu Dekan, mohon maaf namanya, Dekan FNIPA, terima kasih for launching this program. Prof. Organizer, and my close colleague to these WCP programs. Prof. Bapak-bapak, ibu-ibu yang hadir hari ini, thank you very much for coming and joining it physically, because I think after 2 years of pandemic era, so I think this is a time for us to meet face to face so that we can discuss further on our direction. So thank you very much to all. So I've been with Prof. since last 2 years. It was really a great honor to be participated in this particular program. I've shared quite a number of our strategies and also way forward in making sure that we position ourselves in terms of university ranking. Even though most of us are not really believe in ranking, but in the real world, this is what's happening now. Okay, because university is an education hub, where we offer a quality of programs or academic programs. We offer quality of research and innovation. We offer quality of student learning experience. So this covers all the the needs, in making sure that we position ourselves in terms of university ranking. So, but ignoring it is actually a loss for us. So we must go forward to position ourselves in that manner. So I try my best since I've been working with Prof since last 2 years and shared most of the information. I hope that in the near future, USU will position themselves in a higher ranking. Inshallah. It's not an easy job, definitely, like what happened in University Malaya Kuala Lumpur. We started planning since last 20 years, actually, okay, where we built our capital, our people, okay, and we improve our facilities, and we try our hard to get more grants to support the research and innovation. So it's not what you say, it's not a 1-2 years initiatives, but it's a long way that we need to start, at least in order for us to be prepared ourselves to challenge the real world. So this was also being shared, okay, during our last 2 years, communicated using Zoom and online. But today, basically, we're going to be more physical, and maybe whatever that comes to our mind and whatever plan that we need to have more discussion, we can have it, over this meeting. So then, Prof has given me a few topics. Okay, start from today until Friday. I will share with you whatever information that I have through our experience, because I'm starting with the same level as whoever been a docent. Okay, I graduated from UK. I got my S1 from University Malaya, S2 University Malaya. I have a chance to go abroad for my S3 in UK, and coming back in 2000, in year 2000, I start doing my lecturing. So until now, but because the position now is very busy, it's like 100% of my time doing administration. This is the first session that I didn't do any teaching. Before this, I was, I teach undergraduate at S1 and also S2 and S3 definitely for supervision. So when I started my career back in 2000, that was the time that University Malaya is strategizing to go for ranking. Okay. So then we need to apply grants at that time. So alhamdulillah, it's not an easy job, but what I did was I still contacted my previous supervisor in UK. That where I had a chance to network with people. Okay. So I communicated with them just a little bit from recent.
Okay.
So I communicate with whoever collaborators have been in touch when I did my PhD. Then we came up with a project. So that was a project that I won a grant from Ministry of Science and Technology. It cost about 250,000 Malaysian ringgit. I mean, it's really an honor to get that in my first appointment as a docent in University Malaya. Then after that, after 2 years, after I got that output from the research grant, which is a very good output, then I proceed with more external research grant from Ministry of Education and Ministry of Science and Technology. Until now, it's actually I'm having a grant from them, and plus another international grant as well. So I think what need is that we need to have a motivation, motivation, passion, and also a quality of research that we can do with our collaborators. Of course, we cannot stand alone in research. Okay, if we just confine ourselves in our own environment, I mean, in our own institution, sometimes it doesn't work that way. We need to collaborate and break the wall. So we need to go out and approach people. Okay, I think this is a great opportunity that Prof Rickson is actually breaking the wall. So making people coming in and share with USU. Okay, so thank you very much, Prof Rickson. I think it's really a good, initiative that everybody should also go for that. All right. So I think from the output research that we have undertaken with our collaborators, and making it sustain, towards the journey is also very important, because in ranking game, we are not really on ranking, but I think it's also benefit us. If we have a collaborations in our journal publications or patterns, that give a lot of merits, it brings a lot of reputation in that doubt, the networking, the collaboration is very, very important. Okay. So it doesn't matter where the collaborators is. It's not only coming from our institution, but also coming from our members around us, or maybe our regional and also international. We can start from small, but later on it is spread over and get more people coming into the group. So become a bigger group. I mean, it is very good where we can exchange our ideas. I feel a bit, because we are docent, we really passion in research. But since actually, when I was in 2002, I started holding a position, doing some admin, and until now, I'm still holding a post. It's very challenging, but Alhamdulillah, I think the spirit of teamwork is very important. We have our students, Ph.D. students, we have our young staff, young members, or young docents in the department, and we also have collaborators that make the groups have their own strength. We're making sure that they proceed with the output. Okay, so back into 2007, when I have this opportunity to build a group, a research group. At that time, our vice chancellor was the alumni of Belfast University, Ireland, UK. I'm by training, I'm an electrochemist, okay? So I'm using a lot of inorganic materials in my studies, doing synthesis mechanisms and also electrochemical studies. So then we had an opportunity to work with Belfast University. So the Belfast University at that time, they were really into ionic liquids. Ionic liquid is just salt, but it formed liquid in room temperature. So Belfast was really boom at that time. It was like 2007, it's like 15 years, more than 15 years back. So then I've been given a chance to be trained in Belfast for 2 weeks, to synthesize ionic liquids, to give seminars, sharing ideas with them. And came back from there, I sent another 2 PhD students to do their PhD in Belfast in ionic liquids. So that now she's becoming our docent as well, so that we managed to form a group, a research group, what we currently name as University Malaya Center for Ionic Liquids. So today I'm going to share with you what are the centers are doing, because it's not only focusing on ionic liquids, but a lot of applications, that we are doing in the centers. So centers is good opportunity, build up a group as a center, not necessarily to become a big centers, but at least centers making sure that all the researchers are coming together and playing their own role, and making sure that we sustain the centers. Okay, so that is also an opportunity for us to apply for research grant. So becoming in a group where at that point of time we also have chemical engineering group. So chemistry department and chemical engineering group form together UMCIL. Okay, so my first head of UMCIL was Professor Ali Hashim. He's now an emeritus professor, and currently I'm heading UMCIL. Okay, so now we proceed with my slides. So basically, I will be talking about ionic liquids. I'll share with you the properties, how we can synthesize ionic liquids. I believe most of us are chemists here today. Right? It's a very simple synthesis. Yes. Okay, next slide. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, we formed in 2007. Okay, we're coming together 2 departments, chemical engineering and also chemistry department. We form a center called University Malaya Center for Ionic Liquids. So in short, we call it UMCIL. At that time, Belfast also have their ionic liquid centers. In China, also they have China Ionic Liquid Laboratory. And we also have Monash in Australia, where they also have ionic liquid laboratory research. So we are all together in a group at that time. So we have Belfast, we have China, we have Monash, and we have Malaysia. And UTP, I'm not sure whether you have heard about University Technology Petronas in Malaysia also becoming a member of it. So we have a group of people working in ionic liquids. We have quite a frequent meeting together every year, but now getting slower because most of our seniors now retire, especially coming from UK and China. But we still, we still get together sometimes. So that's about still. Next slide.
Next slide. Go.
Okay, so just to share with you our core values, definitely in our research, the main things is about ionic liquid. Ionic liquid is just materials, but we are looking into different platforms, to make sure that the usage of ionic liquids in different area of research as well. So, but what's important in UMCIL is that this is a collaborative effort. Okay, we want to get people together, coming from different disciplines as well, not necessarily to have the chemistry and also chemical engineering. We have people from physics as well. Okay, and we have people from computer scientists because we are doing also some simulation studies. Okay, so not only focusing on chemistry and chemical engineering department, but also coming from various departments as well. Okay, so that's the thing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof. guys. Okay, inshallah. Thank you. Next slide. Okay, just to share with you the current research group. Okay, so the current research group, I'm heading it. Okay, and we have a few researchers. And we have a research officer, Dr. Kumu is normally handling all this administration duty for UMCIL. And as what mentioned earlier, we have a collaboration internationally, regionally, and we still have that communication with them. And nationally also we have members. In Malaysia, we have a Malaysian Ionic Liquid Research Group. It's officially registered. Okay. And we have more than 50 members in the group. Okay, you are welcome to become a members of Malaysian Ionic Liquid Research Group. Inshallah, in the future, maybe also can lead the Indonesian Ionic Liquid Research Group. Okay, so to date, I think I can say that more than 200 ISR ranked journal, which is Q1 and Q2, talking about Q1 and Q2, and we have more than 30 PhD graduated. Okay, because since 2007, and we also won a few awards and patents being granted and filed. So that's the main output that we're targeting under the research. So every year we've been monitored by our research management center. Okay, because every year we must make sure we sustain. But last 5 years, basically we didn't get anything from university. We have to survive ourselves. The university only giving me the research officer. The rest are actually from our own grant and looking for our own income generation for the center. So to make sure that the centers remain and sustain, so we need to have a lot of initiative under the center that we need to do, like workshop, training and whatnot. So this gives more exposures to other people as well. So next slide. Okay. This is the one that I would like to share with you. Okay, I'm not sure whether you have heard about ionic liquids, but pretty sure that you have heard about salt. All right, we have sodium chloride, we have sodium hydroxide. Okay, and naturally it forms as solid. Both form as solid. Okay, but what different is in ionic liquid? Ionic liquid is also have anion and cation, because the common sodium chloride we have Na plus and Cl minus. Okay, so ionic liquid also have plus charge, which is cation, and also negative charge, which is anion. But what important is ionic liquid is formed liquid at room temperature. as compared to sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is solid at room temperature. So ionic liquid form liquid at room temperature. So if we want to claim that we have actually synthesized ionic liquid, the maximum temperature is not more than 100 degrees C, because normal inorganic salt is more than 100, it's like 300 to 400. But what also important point in ionic liquid is that it's very stable at higher temperature. Up to 300 to 400 degrees C is still stable as liquid, it's not evaporated. So means ionic liquid, it has a special characteristic. One is thermally stable, okay? Two is electrochemical stable as well. So when you talk about electronic devices, it's very important to have these electrochemical characteristics. Okay, we'll share with you later. Okay, what if you can see from this slide, you have cation, you have anion. Okay, in this particular example that given to you, okay, on the slide, is all organic on the cation part. So when you talk about cation organic, means they have only like mostly carbon, okay, but they have like nitrogen, phosphorus, like inorganic, but they can form as liquid in room temperature. Okay, this is a very unique property. That's why if you have, you can design different cation and anion, and the combination of both can form liquid at room temperature. Means you can form ionic liquids. Okay, it's really tunable. The tunable properties is the most, what we say, is the most, you can design in different ways. We're talking about molecular design. So this is also expertise from molecular design. Organic synthesis play a role as well, because they can be tuned. They can be synthesized in different ways. You can increase the alkyl chain. You can also incorporate or substitute with any alkene group, for example. But at the end of the day, when you combine both anion and cation, you can have them as a liquid at room temperature. So the tunable properties is a magic for ionic liquids, because it's not like a common salt that we are doing, like sodium chloride and so on. So then, what important characteristic as well to look into this is, of course, we're talking about a wide range of properties, okay, especially as solvent. So when we talk about solvent, you're talking about physical characteristics, physical chemical characteristics, okay, like density and so on. The other important is non-volatile and non-flammable, because it's organic material mostly, okay. So it's non-volatile, that's why I said it's thermally stable, can go up to 300 to 400 degrees C without decompose, okay. And also we are looking at over wide range of temperature, okay. And the other one is electrochemical stability, where we can have a large electrochemical windows. We're talking about designing electrical devices. We are looking at large potential window, where we can reduce or oxidize whatever targeting materials that we're going to do. So these are the things that have taken into account why ionic liquid is important, and why ionic liquid has unique properties, okay, that people are working on it. So if you have a chance to go for international conference, there are a few conferences. Molten salts conference is one of them. Molten salts basically are also looking at ionic liquid in one of the area that they're looking at. And we also have another conference, which is ionic liquid conference, taking place mostly in US. America. So they have a big, I myself didn't have a chance to go to America yet, because I'm so busy with administration work. So it's not easy for me to go abroad for more than, this is really a great opportunity, can be in USU for 2 weeks, 1.5 weeks, I think. But normally I could not have a long break because of the duties that I have to undertake. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, these are the synthesis pathway. Is actually very simple. One is alkylation. Yeah, as a chemist, when we talk about alkylation reaction, one is alkylation. The other one is metathesis. Metathesis is anion exchange. Okay, if you look at the first step, the synthesis, is you are talking about whatever group that you're working, the pyridine, imidazolium, the N group, alkene N group, okay? And then you can have halides, alkyl halides, reaction that this is alkylation, okay? And you can form anion and cation with that alkyl. So means the X minus, the anion, it depends to the alkyl halides that you're started with. If it's halide, if it's chloride, you get chloride. If bromide, you get bromide. But the next part, when you want to do metathesis, you would like to see more organic base with inorganic material in there so that you can form a liquid at room temperature. If it's just chloride, normally you can get solid at room temperature. Okay. The only thing that maybe when you have fluoride, then you can have amorphous at that condition. So whatever it is, you will do the metathesis, which is the anion exchange. It depends to what kind of anions that you're working with. So at the end, you can have these ionic liquids. It's two-step synthesis only. Okay. When you have what we call it task-specific ionic liquids, because when you want to work on the certain functionalizations of ionic liquid, then you are targeting for what you call it task-specific ionic liquids, because in some area you need to have, for example, pathway is only two reactions. One is acylation, the other one is metathesis. Okay, so then you can try and have liquid at room temperature. Okay, next slide. Okay, so if you look at here, we can have various forms of ionic liquid. Okay, from a very simple synthesis pathway to a more complicated pathway. I will share with you my case study based on reported work, how we apply this. For example, we have polyionic liquids. It's a term of polymer. Okay, we have what we call protic ionic liquids, where we have a proton rich, okay, in that ionic liquid. We have aprotic. Okay, we have supported ionic liquid. We have chiral ionic liquids. We have a different type where we can actually tune them to be that such properties. Okay, so that's why I said this is a very important where you can actually try to tune the property so that it's actually apply whatever ionic liquids that you want to synthesize. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is also very important for us to know. Because why we need to do something. Always when we try and do something, there's a lot of research questions come into our mind. And at the end of the research, definitely what are the kind of applications that we are looking at? Okay, these are the main applications that can use ionic liquid, either as a solvent, for example. So in terms of a solvent, you can use ionic liquid to do a synthesis. That on the right-hand side, I'm talking about organic synthesis, or you can use ionic liquid as solvent for extraction, okay? And you can also use ionic liquid as a catalyst, okay? Because of the unique properties of the cation and anionic behavior of that, okay? It make it more active, okay? So then we can use as solvent. The other one we can use for energy application. We're talking about fuel cells, battery, talking about lithium-ion battery sensors. It can be as an electrolyte, okay? Or it can be as a cathode or anode materials. It depends on how you build, how you develop that ionic liquids for certain applications. That's why it's not limited to, okay? It's actually across the energy applications. So for example, in fuel cell, okay, we are talking about membrane. Okay, we are talking about supercapacitors. The transducers can also incorporate ionic liquids because ionic liquid has an electrochemical stability. Okay, like what I mentioned much earlier is on organic synthesis. So they're using as solvent or reaction media. Okay. There are a few examples. You can always look at in the web. Okay, the different kind of reactions, sorry. Like hydrogenation, oxidation, those are the nucleophilic addition and substitution. So they're using ionic liquid as the reaction media. Okay, so some example being given as well. If you look at the lot in literature, that you can see the different kind of reactions that can use ionic liquid as the reaction media. So what my group is very much focusing is on functional materials. Okay, that's why I mentioned much earlier that you can do a task-specific ionic liquids for certain applications. So these functional materials, like we are doing polymers, okay, polyionic liquids, making sure that it conducting materials using in LEDs, supporting a supramolecular materials. This is for drug discovery area that we are looking at, where ionic liquid supported material in drugs as well, because it's like in our body itself, and we have anion and cation, so ionic liquid also play that the same role. And we are also doing membrane studies like extraction, absorptions, okay, as membranes as well. So these are the applications. It's a very broad application. I'm not sure whether in your area of studies, for example, you're talking about analytical chemistry. Analytical chemistry, they're doing a lot of extractions, absorption studies, like extract some metals or doing some membrane studies is all analytical. Talking about organic chemistry, a lot of synthesis, organic synthesis as a reaction media. Like what I'm doing in inorganic chemistry, electrochemistry, definitely more on functional materials and energy applications. Because at the end of the day, we want to see the prototype. We want to patent our findings, we want to be commercialized, for example. But of course, being a docent is not easily or straightforward way, to do up to a commercialization. But, to start with the fundamental studies is also important. Next slide. So in UMCIL, we have a different group of people working in ionic liquids. Okay, we have people from chemical engineering where they do a lot of CO2 absorption, CO2 conversion studies, also using physical or chemical, studies of physical or chemical CO2 absorption using ionic liquid. We also have people from chemical engineering who are working on radical oxygen radical studies, all right, because it's a lot of application industries. Okay, we're talking about radical oxygen. Okay, and we also have people working together in biomass. Okay, converting biomass to value-added product using ionic liquids. Okay, I will share with you some papers later on. But these are the activities that's ongoing in the group besides a fundamental synthesis. Okay, synthesis, we also have a group in that. And now we are also moving to deep eutectic solvents. It's a combination of common organic solvent and also ionic liquids. So deep eutectic solvent also now becoming popular. Okay, that's why we have molten salts, we have ionic liquids, and we have deep eutectic solvent. And other groups are also on theoretical simulation. Okay. Because when we want to design a molecule, we use some simulation studies as well. Okay, like Cosmo RS, we are having people from computer scientists as well to make sure the chemical from the targeted area that we can do functionalization to ionic liquids. So some part of the work also needs some simulation. Okay, so that because we know that when we do a synthesis, we try and error. But if we can simulate first and looking at the potentials of the molecules, attacking or substitution or addition or exchanging atom or ion in the molecule, we can do via simulation. So that'll be faster. Okay. Okay, so the rest I think is more on the analytical and energy application. In my laboratory, I used to have 3 laboratories, but then I could not manage the 3 laboratories, so I surrendered 2 laboratories to my junior, because my junior docent also were my students, PhD students. So now left only one laboratory for me. I think one also, I don't need that one laboratory because I don't think I have time now to do research in that laboratory, but I shared my laboratory with other researchers, okay? So we have quite a extensive big equipment. For example, we have glove box. But again, because of the COVID, now it's under maintenance because the glove box should be maintained throughout, okay? But other than that, for example, we have potential state governance, so definitely, okay? And we also have EIS, more on electrochemical studies, okay, that can study cyclic voltammetry, impedance, and we can also look at resistivity, solid conductivity measurement. Okay, next slide. Okay, just to share before I move to my reported works, okay, just to share with all of you what we have done and what are the papers that we published. So I think I've shared with you last 1 or 2 years about these are the things that being focusing in my own group. I'm talking about my group. I'm talking about I'm the core principal investigator. As mentioned, I have a few PI in the group because this is the big group, like Prof. Sharifah Muhammad, my deputy head. She's also have her own group. She's an analytical chemist, for example. I have Dr. Mugunda, also an analytical chemist. I have Dr. Nini. Dr. Nini is also synthesis and also electrochemical studies. Dr. Peming is electrochemist. Dr. Asrina is physical chemist. We have Dr. Hani from chemical engineering. We have Dr. Adib from chemical engineering. And I have a collaborator with Prof. Khairuddin from Sanwi University. He's on CO2. Okay. We have also people from UTP, Petronas, and so on. So these are the people who actually in the group, but I'm now focusing on my own research group publication related to ionic. Okay. I mentioned that I'm electrochemist, so I'm not only focusing on ionic liquids, but also on other things, okay, like transducers, sensors, which we are not using ionic liquids, okay, because, but other than that, for today's, I'm focusing only publication came up from ionic liquid works. Next slide. Okay, this was the first paper that I got back in 2008. All right, mentioned that we formed ionic liquids back in 2007. So this is the first novel ionic liquids formed in our group, which is formed as polyionic liquid. It's actually a dimeric. It's a dimer. All right. So it's a combination of that to form a dimer. So this is a novel dimeric ionic liquids. So this we published in Journal of Molecular Science back in 2008. This is where we started the work. So we actually trying to modify, doing a lot of design molecule so that we can incorporate more alkyl group to the system, and we measure the temperature. Okay, so looking at the temperature, liquid at room temperature, so then we can look at the stability of that dimeric ionic liquids. So this is a novel studies that we made back in 2008. So starting from here, we actually have more confidence in ionic liquid because we never worked in ionic liquid before. Okay, try to look into that possibilities, you know, making that more related to the center. So we have to have a novel material, our own ionic liquid. So these are the first novel ionic liquid, and following from this, there are a few papers from other researchers as well in the synthesis of ionic liquids. Okay, next slide. So then if you look at here, okay, after a while that we are doing a lot of syntheses, we are trying for the next application. Okay, so we try to apply looking at different application of ionic liquid, not only synthesis, but the next step after synthesizing ionic liquids, what are we going to use the ionic liquids for? Okay, so for example, in this work, okay, been published in RFC Advances. In the same year, we have 3 papers where we do some chemical modification. It's just modification. This is where the molecular designer is very important. Okay, this molecular designer looking into the possibilities of how we can actually design the new ionic liquid. So in the same years, we published 3 RFC Advances. This Q1 paper, and where we design, you can see that we have dicatonic, the same base, okay, di, tri, and tetra. And using this di, tri, and tetra, we are using at different studies, antibacterial activities, and we are looking at surfactants. Okay, so when you have ideas, you know what you're going to do, the next step after synthesis, then you can reverse that. How are you going to design your material? Okay, so that's the idea. We are not only, because as we know, in organic synthesis, there are like 17 pathways, 17 reactions you want to do, isn't it? So it's very complicated. I'm not organic synthesis, I'm electrochemist. So when I find the synthesis pathway for ionic liquid is only 2 pathways. So that's where, you know, come my interest, because I don't want to hear about a lot of mechanism, you know, I'm not in that area. So I'm looking at the simplest way of doing it. So then the 2-step synthesis, you know, give me the interest. So that I try to synthesize it using the most ideal starting material that you can have it commercially. Okay, so you have to look into the catalog to look into a different type of alkenes, okay, functionalized group, for example, so that you can apply to antibacterial activity, or you can apply on the surfactants, okay? Because the originality of the work is that you must make sure that whatever you perform is in liquid at room temperature. So you start designing it. That's why I said you want to know what is your goal, and then from there you look at the potential of achieving your goal. Okay, so that is where the work reported in 2015. This is my PhD student coming from where is coming from Iraq, and now he's in Canada. He's Canada in one of the top universities in Canada. So he published in 1 year a training that is really a hard work that we actually have to sit together and looking at that, how we can produce. But fortunately, we published in the same year. Actually, the work started in 2014. Okay, next slide. Okay, these are also the things that we are doing after we develop our ionic liquids, okay, where we embrace this ionic liquid in my supramolecular work. I had a chance, this is my first and now only one sabbatical leave that I've got from Australia. I have a chance to go for 9 months abroad, where I went to Western Australia. Okay, I worked with Colin Ruston, and he's now in Flinders University. Colin is more on supramolecular chemistry. So that time I was trying to find my way, you know, I want to strengthen my ionic group because that was the time I set up ionic liquid. At the same time, I want to collaborate with my collaborators. Okay, my collaborators working on drug, because they try to incorporate like ETBL, you know, other electronic systems to the, because our body system have a lot of metals. Okay? So then I try to find a way how I can incorporate my ionic liquids. So it turned out to be, it was a great opportunity, you know, where I can incorporate my phosphonium ions, the anions of the ionic liquids. You can imagine, from designing your anions, you can build another supramolecular. Okay, so either you are strengthening your cation, or you are strengthening your anion. Okay, so in this particular case, I'm strengthening my anions where I can build a supramolecule. It's actually embedding in between the layers of supramolecule. It built up the, you can imagine the scaffolding. So you have a backbone, okay? inside there, you can actually make it the size of the space that become bigger and bigger, so that you can hold more ions in there. So this is what the work was done back in 2007 and 2008. Then it came up in New Journal of Chemistry. So the two papers, I got it from a sabbatical leave. So that was the first start when I really focused on my supramolecule. So because it's, as I mentioned, a lot of application. Okay, I'm electrochemist. I'm training to do some synthesis in organic materials, but looking at molybdenum, that was my Ph.D. about, looking at how ammonia can be produced, okay, nitrogen product. But again, to look into potential, we have to think beyond that. So what can we apply towards our current research interest? So that is what back in 2007-2008. Next slide. Okay, then I continue to proceed with this potential work because it's very easy. It's very easy. Calyx syringe, I'm not sure whether you have heard about calyx. Calyx is a very unique properties. It's a bowl shape. It can have different size. It has calyx 4, calyx 5, 6, until 8, where the bowl become bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, so it also have a unique properties. It can go up and down like this, like two bowl like that, or maybe can have a bit shifted from the properties. So what important here is how we can incorporate that ionic liquid. So in this interesting journey, I put my cation, because calyx 4, they have a hydroxide nature, okay, the negative charge. So we'll attract the positive charge of it. So I use ionic liquid as a solvent only. Okay, calyx, you stir it with ionic liquid for a while and start to settle for sometimes to get a crystal out of it, and it turned out to be crystals. It's a very simple synthesis. You don't need a magic. No magic in here. The magic is the ionic liquid. So then I let it settle after, of course, synthesizing calyx syringe. We can have it commercial. If commercial available, is quite expensive. That time when I've got grant, I buy it commercially. I don't synthesize because I'm not organic synthesis person. So what I did, I combined the calyx syringe plus the ionic liquid, stir it, just control the temperature about 60 degrees at that time, and just let it settle. Let it settle. After 2 days, 3 days, I got the crystal out. And I signed the crystal because that time the molecular weight is more than 1,000 because it's a small molecule. We don't have equipment in UM. We have only X-ray, but X-ray is less than 400 molecular weight. So then I sent it to Australia back to my collaborators. I did my sabbatical with Colin Reston, so I sent my sample back to Australia. That's where I got a lot of paper with them. And that time I have one PhD student, Dr. Irene, and now she's servicing Monash University. She published a lot. She's really passionate about research. And I got a lot of paper from here, collaboration with Colin Reston. You can look into my UM expert or my CV. There's a lot of publication in this. This is what we call it crystal engineering studies. Using supramolecule, a big molecule, we are looking into distances, how the structure form, different structure, because it's like scaffolding, so we can stack them, okay? And we study the size, we study what other cation can fit into it. We're looking into the application of it. This is more on drug discovery. So this is where, the compacting manner, how it structured themselves. This is the greatest that we can study a lot using ionic liquid. So by putting in different type of ionic liquid, the length size, or more functionalization of the cation of the ionic liquid, it can go into the bowl. So it stays there as a concrete structure. So it's very stable, it's very dynamic, it's very good opportunity. That's where, it can generate all Q1 paper. It's a really high impact. We've been also invited to have the front cover of New Journal of Chemistry at that time. Okay, but definitely working with my collaborators. That's why I say we need to have collaborators. Okay, wherever they are. Okay. Next, these are also another work of it. Again, there's a lot of work with that, and these are the one that if you look into the calixarenes, it form an alternate conformation where we look into a different layers of hydrophobic and hydrophilic. This is called a crystal engineering work. We are really studying how the structures perform in a crystal manner. Okay, so this will give a lot of impact actually if you publish in this publication. As I say, the preparation is simple, but the study of crystal engineering, that's most challenging. Okay, next. Okay, this is another work. Okay, another work that we venture into biomass. Okay, one of our collaborators in Australia, Dr. D. Ardos, before this, I know him when I had a chance to work in Belfast. So that time he was a PhD student. After he finished PhD, he worked in Australia. So then we started work in biomass. We are using a biomass as solvent, okay, extraction. So biomass, normally we use a hard, I think Prof. also working with kernel, what type of?
Coconut.
Coconut, okay, coconut kernel. We are working on at that time rubber wood biomass because we want to look into, because I have PhD student at that time. She came from Rubber Institute, so we want to utilize branches that is not used, and we convert it, this biomass, convert it to value added. So we are looking into how it can play a role, what kind of chemicals that can be extracted out from rubber wood. Okay, so we use a different type of ionic liquid, and we are studying using conventional. Conventional means the dissolution and then extraction using a common way. But then again, we find the best way is using microwave. Okay, of course, microwave is faster, okay, and high speed, so we can produce and generate more. So this is where we use ionic liquid in these studies. Okay, so we are using dissolution, extraction, and hydrolysis to get the value-added material at the end. Okay, for this kind of work that we are doing. Next slide. Okay, these are also another work of my students as well. Again, in rubber wood, the same PhD student. She got 2 papers came out from this. And she's also using ionic liquid, so different type of ionic liquid. In this case, she can produce glucose at the end. So extracted from rubber wood, we can extract glucose at the end. So means we need to do dissolution, definitely dissolve it. So the biomass has to be grind at certain level of sizes, because we know that the lowest size or the smallest particle can have a big area. So we try to grind it, and after that we dissolve it in ionic liquid, and we extracted the best chemical and do separation, and finally doing some enzymatic or pyrolysis maybe that we can get a more value-added product. In this case, the glucose. Next slide. Okay, another PhD students are using coconut shell. Okay. Coconut shell, this was done back in 2017. She's at that time, she's only my master's student. Okay, so master student, if you look at here, they're using ionic liquid. So there are plenty of ionic liquid. You can use the same biomass, but different ionic liquid. So but what we want to know here is we want to know whether the active site is an ion or anion. And we found out in this case, it's more on anion. Okay. So anion play a role in extracting more valuable chemicals. Okay. Now the normal anion is chloride, but we are trying to ignore chloride. We want to go more organic anion, so that is green. Is green. So in her studies, she managed to extract lignin. So in this case, she extracted lignin with that temperature. But again, because ionic liquid is stable at higher temperature. Okay, remember 300 to 400. So we can actually do any reaction in between that temperature. So then at the end, we can extract lignin. So she published in Bioresources, again, a Q1 paper back in 2007. She's only a master student at that time. Now she's doing PhD with me, also doing biomass. So looking at rice husk and other biomass as well. Next. Okay, this is a work as well back in 2020. So Mastura did a coconut shell doing masters, and now she's finalizing her thesis. She managed to also using ionic liquids to extract lignin in rice husk, okay, and to get a value-added product at the end. So again, ionic liquid used as a solvent, okay, for extraction, dissolution, and also extraction. And the most important here is if used as a solvent, we don't want any reaction between solvents and the targeted molecule. So we want to make sure that we regenerate back our ionic liquid. So the percentage of regeneration is about 95% in most of the cases. It means we can regenerate back our ionic liquid. We don't lose it. If you compare it as organic solvent, it's easily evaporated, isn't it? We lose half of the solvents normally. But in ionic liquid, we can actually regenerate back about 90%, 90 to 95% of ionic liquids back. We don't use that much. Ionic liquid is very expensive. So normally, of course, synthesizing it, but again, getting a pure ionic liquid is also challenging. It's not that much material use it, but then again, we can reuse and regenerate back our ionic liquids. So that's the most important. Next slide. Okay, I will share with you our recent work, 2021 and 2022. Okay, we're still ongoing, proceed with some work. So in 2021, we are studying oxidative degradation of this drug using superoxide ion generated in ionic liquid or a protic solvent binary system. This is my work with chemical engineering. I got one PhD student currently, she's finalizing her thesis. She's from Pakistan. So this is her first paper that she generates superoxide ion. Okay, superoxide ion is very active, right? You can use a lot of application as well. So she's using it to decompose actually drug. Okay. So in her research, you know, she's doing a common cyclic water-chemistry study. So we are using electrochemical evidence, okay, besides a normal FTIR, whatever. So it's actually an advantage to look for electrochemical studies. It's a supporting characterization, especially in ionic liquid, because it's conducting. Okay, so because it's cation and anion. So this is where we are looking at different type of ionic liquid. You can look into, for example, imidazolium cation and also ammonium and cation. So and different anion type as well. So these are the type of ionic liquid that we are using in superoxide studies. This work we have a collaboration. Used to be we have Dr. Mual working with us in chemical engineering. Now he is in Oman University, back in Oman. So we are still working, supervising the students. And he also has his brother now is our academics in Sinambela, Dr. Adib. Dr. Adib is very active in research. When she did her PhD, she got a first-class PhD, distinction PhD. And he's now active working with Japan as well, Japanese industries, okay? In palm oil, because he got a chance to have his intern like 1 year with Sinambela. If you heard about Sinambela, it's a big company in Asia. So now he continuing working with that, and we are applying a research grant with Japan industry, okay, in this particular work in superoxide. So hopefully, finger crossed, so we can have more collaborators from Japan as well in these studies. Next slide. Okay, these are the work that we published in 2021 as well. This is the micro extraction, okay, studies. As I said, micro extraction, and we are applying it to environmental water samples. Okay, so I always say to my students, PhD students especially, we are not half-baked work. We must make sure that our work is up to applications. Okay, because we want to have an impact to the journal. We want to make sure that we study from the beginning, the identification, the characteristics, okay, and we testify, do testimony, means validation, and then after that, we make sure that we apply to the real sample, so that they have the whole spectrum of work, so that we can publish in a good journal. So we published in Microchemical Journal in 2021. She's our PhD student, and in this case, we're using paper-based polymer ionic liquids or thin film. Okay, I can share with you my slide. You don't have to worry. Okay, yeah. You can extract in my Google Scholars as well all these papers. But the good thing is that to expose my colleague today here, what are the kind of research we undertaken, okay, in the group. Next slide. In 2021 as well, we are using an liquid in natural resources. So sporopollinate, my PhD student, she just graduated, Dr. Kumu. Kumu is my research officer. She's the one who did her PhD with me. This November, inshallah, will be her convocation. And today, she's got a great news that she's been promoted to Q48, which is a seniors research officer. Okay, alhamdulillah, congrats to Kumu. All right, so she's published a paper for a PhD in 2021 in Materials Today Communication, where she did the membrane, okay, incorporate an liquid with natural products, okay, and then use as membrane to extract phenol. Okay, we have a lot of pollutions, water pollutions, phenol, water pollution. So using this membrane, she can extract phenols. Okay, so that's why this is very important as well, because we use we study the applications of it, so that we know that at the end of the day, this can be used for certain applications. Next slide. Okay, now we move to the current work, which is 2022. Alhamdulillah, we published a paper in 2022, almost end of the year already. But there are a few papers that I published. Okay, one is this is the work from the Dr. Adib, as I mentioned, palm oil for biodiesel, okay, production. We apply acidic ionic liquids, okay. And we look into, we monitor what is the best ionic liquid used for these biodiesel applications. Okay, so we published in Journal of Ionic Liquids in 2022. So you can look into a different type of ionic liquid used, which combination is giving the best solution to these biodiesel productions. The audio is okay. It's okay because everybody can see the Zoom. Yeah. All right, thank you. Next slide. So this is also a work from Dr. Kumu, mentioned earlier, the research officer, sporopollinate. This is also work supported ionic liquids, okay, used in mixed matrix membranes for micro extraction of nitro and chloro substitute phenols from various matrix. Okay, so in here, if you look at in here, she managed to make the mixed matrix membrane, which is MMM. Okay, and she tried to look into the extractions of different substituted phenols in industrial water stream, in honey, detox drink, and weight loss supplements. So means if you look at here, they can have a different applications, especially extracting substituted phenol. And if you look at here, the LOD is 0.03 and LOQ is 0.11, which is a very good performance, okay, of the membranes to extract the substituted phenols. Okay. So these are the work that she did on a PhD. She managed to publish 3 papers on a PhD. And inshallah, this November will be her graduation day. Next slide. This also her work. Okay, this is also her current work. She tried to, she made again the same mixed matrix membrane. Okay, and she looked into honey samples. Okay. and using analytical eco scale and analytic greenness for matrix approach, because we are looking at green technology, okay? And she used the natural resources and incorporate with ionic liquids and try to extract materials and finally can have a significance in matrix, which is give 0.72, which is a good indicator as a green technology in that manner. Okay, so you can have further elaboration in her paper in that. If you look at the method used, it's very simple. It's just sonication, ethanol extraction, sonicate, and using HPLC. It's not a very sophisticated kind of equipment that we are using, okay? But it's manageable in the chemistry department. Next slide. Okay, so overall, I think we also looking into community outreach program. We are also having our what do you call it, school to actually looking into STEM project, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Okay, we do with them a project for innovation, and mostly Dr. Kumu on the right of the picture, who actually assisting students. Okay, 16, 17 years old student from boarding school doing innovation project, international. Maybe other materials too, because my group is not only focusing on ionic liquids, but other things as well. If you look at my CV, a lot of work on sensors, designing other materials, and looking at more electrical devices. Okay, definitely more work, because I got a big grant last 10 years by Ministry of Higher Education. Thank you very much. And if you have any question, yes, you can always share. Thank you.
Okay, keep applause for from the Yatimah. Okay, guys, I'm very happy. Many participants also are my colleague. Yeah, there is a Paron, yeah, from Ph.D. from NDU also joined with us, and the other colleague. Okay, I give the time for all the attendants to give a comment or question to Prof. Yatimah concerning from her studies and also research, and also her group is very interesting. For me, this is a very special and very interesting due to she start from the zero and she start from the simple materials, but she create lots of applications based on combined from ionic, anodic, and cathodic, ionic and cationic, right? And to be special material that is ionic liquid. And this is very important because ionic liquid can apply to many applications. So interesting material for future, I think. Okay, I open the session. Please give a question or comment to Ibu from the Yatimah presentation. Time is over now. Okay, participants. Yeah, silakan Pak Ron. Do you have some questions? And also can communicate, introduce yourself to Ibu from the Yatimah. Okay, please still mute. Unmute, please.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, again, we cannot hear your voice.
Hear me now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, I don't use a headphone. Okay, Prof. I got questions on ionic liquid, but have you ever worked with this ionic liquid gel instead? Because I suddenly think of this because in the previous work I worked with these smart windows where we need an electrolyte in between two glass panels. As you know, if we try to install these windows on the high-rise building and in the middle of these two glass panel is the liquid electrolyte, it will have a lot of technical challenge. But if we can do it with the gel-like materials, that would be perfect. Your comment on this if you have any experience on the gel ionic liquid. Thank you, Prof.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, I had an experience working in that. Actually, in my early careers, I working with polymer electrolyte. Okay. At that time, I'm working with MMA most of the time because I got one PhD student at that time, Dr. Muta. All right. Once I get my new identity back in 2008, I tried to do that because that time also working with gel. Okay. Um, we actually managed to to produce a gel electrolyte. Okay. But then unfortunately, because my PhD student had a big problem that time, so he didn't manage to proceed that. But what I can see from what the first finding of his work is actually is manageable. Okay, means we can form a gel electrolyte, thin layer of gel electrolyte. Definitely at that time we are working on a lithium-ion battery. Okay, that's why they are potential. But because unfortunately the student didn't proceed with that, so I'm not proceed with any lithium-ion battery works on gel electrolyte. But yes, Prof, I think there are potentials. Because when I received a big grant in 2008, my focus is divert to supramolecular studies. So I focus more on that. So I stopped until now the batteries. But I have a new researcher, Dr. Fakhrul. Dr. Fakhrul is advanced material physicist. Okay. He just joined us in a group and he would like to proceed more on gel electrolyte. So maybe in the near future, if you have a chance to have chat with you, maybe I can link you with Dr. Fakul. She's a really active researcher. She's now associate professor, and inshallah, in the coming year, he will become a professor. He's a very young, talented researcher. He's working more on polymer electrolyte. Yes, their potentials. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. I would love to work with your researcher on this, see whether
Yes.
we can have the windows we're talking about is about 1 to 1 meter, 1 by 1 meters, and sandwich in between should be the very stable gel electrolytes. If
Okay.
not, then the windows will have problems.
Okay, sure.
Right.
I'll
Yeah,
talk to
sure.
Fakru further on this. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Thank you.
I will link with you. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you, Prof.
extends your discussion in Singapore. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
next
Yeah,
one.
Yep.
I'm going to Singapore.
Oh.
I have 2 trips in Singapore.
Uh-huh.
First early November, and the other one is end of November.
Sure, I will love to have a chat with you and
Yeah.
see whether we can collaborate on some projects.
Yeah, sure. All right.
Thank you,
Good.
Prof. Yatimah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Maron. Okay, for the other participants, yeah. Okay, you can freely to ask people from Yatimah. No question. Already know well of it. Okay, yeah, silakan. Ibu Rita.
I want to ask something. Number one, crude urine, and bacteria Bacillus cereus with molasses. For the first step, how we can extract the ionic liquids from the liquid organic fertilizers that contains the a lot of materials. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, I mentioned earlier that ionic liquid can be a solvent, can be extractor, okay, or dissolve certain things. All right. What important here, if we understand the behavior that the solvent or the characteristic of the things that we want to achieve, the goal, okay, we can tune the type of ionic liquid. For example, okay, we're talking about nitrogen base, for example, nitrogen base materials that you're focusing on, all right? So it's compatible on certain characteristic of ionic liquid, or maybe also the nitrogen base, for example, or the phosphate base, all right? So in this particular case, we have to understand, compared to a common conventional solvent, what are the character, whether it's hydrophilic, hydrophobic materials, you know, what are the density and viscosity, that physical chemical properties of that, we can actually tune our ionic liquid. What kind of ionic liquid that, you know, characteristic that almost the same as our solvent, for example, that's one. And then if we're talking about how ionic liquid can extract certain things from your material, it's also based on the knowledge of ionic liquids that you're designing them. Okay, if you're putting more nucleophilic effects to the ionic liquid, for example, you can extract more cationic of whatever that you are looking at because of the cation and ionic behavior. Okay, so that's why I say you must understand what is your target. You have to understand what you're looking for, what kind of things that you want to extract out, or you want to absorb out, or you want to incorporate them to dissolve, for example, so that if you understand that, you can apply to what kind of ionic liquid that can have that behavior that you can use. That's why in our study, there's a lot of simulation being used as well, because we want to make sure that whatever we design suits the application that we want to do. So we can give a try and error, but you know it's not economical to do that way. All right, we must have some target. I never worked with any biological sample before, but we have done in enzymatic studies. All right, for example, we want to look into how ionic liquid can stabilize enzyme in that media, okay? Because we know that ionic liquid is thermally stable, okay? So that because we know that enzymes is easily decomposed at certain temperature, okay? So we have to make sure that it been used as solvent in that particular analysis or whatever reaction that you want to do. So that is a high time, you know, that we are looking into that, so that it can stabilize the condition, whatever condition, the temperature, for example, looking with only, for example, 5 degrees C, we have to control the temperature, okay? We cannot exceed more than 50 degrees, for example, in certain cases. So we can use anything as a solvent media, okay, for us. So in most particular, I've never worked in your area, but I believe that, you know, we have to understand the character of ionic liquid that you use in your study, in media, in extracting your compound, for example, or maybe because you can use as a solvent. That is the main particular of the character. Okay. I hope it helps in some way. Thank you.
Okay. The last question maybe from participants. Okay, yeah, thank you so much for Ibu Prof Yatimah, who very good presentation and fruitful delivery ionic liquids. Based on that, we have a new idea to develop something concerning our research to open-minded and heat up our idea. So actually, anion and cation is very important to modify our material, and then we can apply the new material or novel material to many applications. For example, for energy, fuel cells, and for functional materials, and for environment, and for the others. So this is a very beautiful idea, how to manage the concept from the simple way, go around in our close to our environment, and then we can develop many things from our neighbor, our environment, and then can apply again back to our life. So this is very important idea to find out this idea. I hope all of participants can get up the pivotal points from Ibu Prof. Yatimah presentation this morning. Okay, again, thank you so much, Ibu Prof. Yatimah. So we can go to the other presentation. Okay, again, thank you so much. Again, let's give applause to Prof. Yatimah. So now the next presenter. Actually, in our university, always within the lecturing, research, and so on. But how to make it be important for our community? It is a real to be implementation or applied to our community. It is use or only useless for them. Sometimes university cannot catch this point. Yeah, Ibu Yatimah already opened up the idea. We have to produce many things can be used for our community, not only for our university but also for our community. So that's why I invite from the other side, from university. He will deliver the concept how about digitalize university and also business. This is important for our research. Without money and funding, we can develop our research and our university. Okay, Pak Elfin, ya.
Ya, terima
Oke,
kasih
silakan.
Prof.
Ya.
Prof. Rickson.
Saya berikan waktu
Dikasih,
ke Pak Elfin, silakan.
bisa dikasih ini host.
Ya, silakan.
Belum? Oke. Okay, now everybody see my screen.
Ya.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, good morning, all friends, those of you who are in our webinar. Introduce me. My name is Elfin Mual Sinambela. I am from DPP IT Apmikindo, Jakarta, and also I am a programmer and founder of C-Coding ID, located also in Jakarta. So I want to explain you, Apmikindo is one of the big organization in Indonesia, focused for UMKM. We call that small and medium enterprises. And of course, C-Coding is one of startup as IT software development, which is me is as a founder. So I think this second topic is very different from the first topic, because Prof. Yatimah, the first topic talking about science, and now I'm going talking about business. But I think if we combine these two things, it will be produce something big in the future, because science will be make commercial industry. Okay, first of all, I would like to thank to USU VCP for this opportunity, especially to Professor Rison as my friend, who has given me the trust and the task to explain about the business in this webinar. And so basically, I will present three opportunity, which is today and the next webinar in 19 October, and the last is 21 October, with a different topic that's given by Professor Wilson. And today, I want to introduce UMKM, small and medium enterprises in Indonesia. So at the 19th October, I will present topic about is still related topic that's I call a how to successfully online business and to develop your business. And the last chance is 21 October, I will present about the campus digitalization, about strategy and to chasing a world-class university seen from technology and commercial side. Okay, I think let me present my material in Indonesian. So that's it easy for me to explore UMKM, small and medium enterprises in Indonesia. But if any question in English, I can also try to answer your question. Finally, not less important, I hope that this is from our leader, that hopefully that Campus USU will carry out and make maybe memorandum of understanding with APMIKIMDO, because we are already have organization representative in North Sumatra region, of course, focus in how to build UMKM in North Sumatra. Oh, I think Professor Rizan, let's start my presentation. Bapak Ibu sekalian, tadi setelah saya mengikuti dari presentasi dari Profesor Yatimah bicara tentang sains, dan kali ini saya akan bicara tentang bisnis. Ini adalah dua hal yang berbeda. Tetapi memang kalau kita bisa kombinasikan itu akan menjadi sesuatu yang besar di depannya. Jadi kami juga memperkenalkan UMKM ini di dalam event internasional di G20 di Bali, di mana kami selalu fokus mentransformasi digital supaya UMKM itu naik kelas. Jadi pengertian UMKM itu tidak hanya selalu melulu tentang pedagang di kaki lima atau misalnya pedagang yang tidak berbadan hukum. Jadi UMKM itu juga bisa lahir di dalam kampus, karena memang kampus itu sebagai pusat researcher juga dia akan memiliki akses untuk membuat produk-produk dan services dari laboratorium, sehingga produk-produk itu bisa dapat dipasarkan dan di link and match ke industrinya masing-masing. Bapak Ibu, tentu sejarah UMKM ada di Indonesia itu tidak terlepas dari data. Jadi kalau kita lihat jumlah rasio data di Asia Tenggara, bahwa UMKM di Indonesia itu sangat rendah sekali. Jadi kalau kita lihat dari rasio, bahwa di Indonesia itu UMKM kita tuh hanya 2,5% dari total penduduk. Jadi bisa dibayangkan kita itu adalah peringkat yang sangat rendah dibandingkan dengan negara tetangga kita. I'm sorry. Jadi kalau dilihat dari data BPS, jumlah UMKM yang ada di Indonesia itu ada 64 juta unit. Jadi saya pernah mengakses salah satu portal di pemerintah pusat bahwa ada 27 lembaga kementerian di Indonesia yang memiliki data UMKM, tetapi jumlahnya berbeda semua. Saya juga tidak tahu kenapa. Ya mungkin ini masalah klasik yang selalu terjadi di negara kita. Datanya tidak sama karena memang kita tidak punya katakanlah misalnya satu data yang mengurus tentang UMKM. Dan UMKM yang di Indonesia itu 60% itu tidak memiliki perizinan dan hanya 30% yang memiliki akses pembiayaan. Jadi inilah status dan inilah potret daripada UMKM di Indonesia. Makanya saya berharap bahwa kampus USU bisa melahirkan entrepreneur-entrepreneur yang lebih baik dibanding dengan UMKM yang ada selama ini kita kenal. Kenapa? Karena tingkat kesuksesan UMKM itu sangat ditentukan oleh kemampuan edukasi daripada foundernya, kemampuan daripada pemilik-pemilik UMKM untuk memproduksi barang atau jasa. Dan kampus adalah basisnya, karena kampus itu adalah center of excellence-nya. Di situ dia bisa menghasilkan barang dan produk dengan melakukan yang namanya kalibrasi atau misalnya mengutilisasi laboratorium sehingga dia bisa menghasilkan produk. Next slide-nya adalah kalau kita lihat ini peran UMKM dalam nasional, ini adalah gambaran data yang memang data ini diambil dari website BKPM Indonesia. Jadi BKPM itu adalah Badan Koordinasi Penanaman Modal. Jadi kalau perusahaan asing mau berinvestasi, biasanya mereka datang ke BKPM ini. Jadi kalau kita lihat di sini Bapak Ibu, dalam kotak yang merah, Indonesia itu kalau dilihat proporsi unit usahanya dia tinggi 99%. Tetapi kalau kita lihat dari proporsi kreditnya, dia hanya mendapat kredit yang sangat kecil sekali. Jadi kalau di Indonesia kreditnya 20%, tapi kalau kita lihat Singapura 39%, Malaysia 51%, Jepang malah lebih tinggi, itu sektor perbankan mereka banyak menyasar UMKM-nya mereka. Ini kan menjadi tanda tanya bagi kita, kenapa UMKM di Indonesia itu sektor kreditnya kecil sekali. Tapi UMKM yang ada di Malaysia, di negara Profesor Yatimah itu tinggi, bisa 51%, 2 kali lipat. Itu kenapa? Tetapi yang uniknya adalah kontribusi tenaga kerja UMKM di Indonesia besar sekali, 97%. Sementara di negara lain itu lebih kecil dibanding negara-negara Indonesia. Seperti misalnya di Malaysia 48% kontribusi tenaga kerjanya. Artinya ada potret UMKM Indonesia yang memang berbeda core-nya dibanding dengan negara-negara tetangga kita. Jadi kalau dilihat dari sesi tenaga kerja, UMKM di Indonesia itu lebih banyak di sektor informal. Sementara UMKM yang ada di Malaysia di Thailand adalah usaha-usaha yang memang dia berbadan formal, berbentuk legalitas perusahaan, minimal komanditer. Tapi di kita itu tidak banyak. Bahkan kemarin saya pernah diskusi ke salah satu direkturnya di BKPM bahwa yang memiliki NIB itu nomor induk berusaha Bapak Ibu. Jadi Bapak Ibu nanti kalau bikin usaha nanti bisa daftar NIB, itu gratis kok di website mereka. Itu nggak lebih dari 510.000 yang punya NIB. Sementara data yang tersajikan oleh BPS adalah UMKM kita itu terpotret 64 juta UMKM. Ini kan jomplang sekali. Di BKPM itu terdapat hanya 510 NIB, tetapi data UMKM itu tersebar itu 64 juta UMKM. Itu kalau di search di googling itu bisa kelihatan. Data itu history digital data itu tidak akan pernah hilang lah seperti itu. Kemudian juga kontribusi ekspor UMKM kita juga sangat kecil sekali ya. Jadi inilah makanya Presiden Jokowi kami kemarin bertemu melakukan koordinasi dengan Menteri KUKM karena memang departemen teknis kami itu di Kementerian KUKM selalu meminta mendorong UMKM supaya bisa ekspor. Tapi bagaimana UMKM bisa ekspor? Tentu ini juga masalah klasik yang dihadapi oleh UMKM itu sendiri. Ini gambarannya seperti itu Bapak Ibu sekalian. Saya meng-capture ini untuk kebutuhan dari WCP USU. Analisa data tingkat nasional UMKM kita, kalau kita lihat tadi bahwa jumlah UMKM kita 64 juta, itu kontribusinya di mana saja. Jadi UMKM kita itu tersebar di unit usaha besar, menengah, dan kecil. Jadi sangat terlihat sekali bahwa kalau kita lakukan perbandingan dari sisi kuantitatif, bahwa UMKM usaha kecil itu sangat besar sekali, 783 unit, dibanding dengan usaha besarnya. Artinya bahwa usaha besar ini sampai usaha kecil bisa dikatakan usaha-usaha yang memang sudah terakses oleh permodalan atau pengembangan SDM. Tapi usaha mikronya ada sekitar 63 juta. Ini yang menjadi menjadi PR bersama bagaimana usaha mikro ini dinaikkan menjadi usaha kecil. Itulah yang kami sebut dengan kami menyebutnya dengan warung Apmikimdo, supaya setiap usaha-usaha mikro itu dapat meningkatkan kualitasnya. Inilah yang disebut dengan UMKM naik kelas. Jadi Bapak Ibu sekalian, saya sampaikan dalam kesempatan ini, selalu saya sampaikan supaya menjadi perhatian, termasuk juga barangkali saya minta tolong kepada akses relasi guru besar di USU untuk menyampaikan ke stakeholder yang ada di daerah, dalam hal ini adalah pemerintahan kota atau provinsi yang ada di Sumatera, apa penyebab daripada UMKM itu sulit naik kelas. Jadi ini dialami semua dari Sabang sampai Merauke gitu ya. Jadi pertama adalah memang akses kredit usaha itu memang sangat kurang. Jadi kalau kita bicara UMKM, Indonesia itu kreditnya hanya 20%. Bandingkan Korea Selatan, dia bisa akses UMKM itu 80%. Thailand, Malaysia sekitar 50%, Singapura 45%. Kita sangat rendah sekali. Artinya bahwa UMKM kita itu memang sulit mengakses kredit perbankan ataupun misalnya kredit-kredit yang non perbankan, karena memang berdampak kepada kemampuan daripada UMKM sendiri itu sendiri memang tidak layak untuk diberikan akses untuk pembiayaan. Yang kedua adalah bahwa kualitas SDM itu memang kalah, ya. Jadi ada saya pernah baca bahwa kenapa startup yang ada di Eropa relatif dia bisa lebih survive dibanding UMKM, karena gini, startup itu bisa saja bergerak seperti UMKM, tapi pada akhirnya startup itu berbeda dengan UMKM. Jadi startup itu ada jalurnya, dia membesar. UMKM itu sepertinya tidak bergerak gitu. Jadi memang bahwa UMKM yang ada di luar negeri itu biasanya memang edukasinya itu rata-rata pendidikannya bisa tingkat sarjana atau malah pasca sarjana. Sedangkan UMKM yang ada di Indonesia itu rata-rata memang tingkat SMA saja sudah bagus gitu ya. Jadi ini yang membuat bahwa SDM kita kalah, sehingga ketika pelaku-pelaku UMKM kita itu SDM-nya itu tidak tinggi, katakanlah misalnya dari sisi skill ataupun misalnya dari sisi edukasi, maka kemampuan dia untuk mengakses perizinan atau mengakses katakanlah misalnya permodal itu jadi lemah sekali. Paling gampang begini, UMKM di Indonesia itu paling rumit dan paling sulit diajak ketika diminta membuat NPWP. Dia ada suatu pemikiran apabila data dia diakses, ini akan menjadi ancaman bagi UMKM itu sendiri, misalnya dari sisi perpajakan atau segala macam. Padahal sebenarnya pajak UMKM itu sudah sangat kecil sekali, bahkan dipertimbangkan kurang dari 1% pajak UMKM-nya. Jadi mana UMKM kita bisa naik kelas, sementara untuk membuka dirinya saja supaya bisa diakses oleh NPWP itu sulit sekali gitu ya. Yang kedua, misalnya saya menemukan banyak contoh yang ada di lapangan bahwa UMKM kita itu sangat minder, dalam artian dia tidak mau tersentuh oleh teknologi. Diminta bikin email saja yang gratisan seperti Gmail saja mereka tidak mau. Mereka bilangnya itu ribet. Bagaimana saya mau bikin email? Saya nggak ngerti. Kemudian juga mereka juga tidak punya yang namanya katakanlah misalnya kuota karena untuk beli pulsa. Itu banyak sekali alasannya. Jadi ini juga membuat jadi UMKM itu kalah saing. SDM-nya kita kalah. Yang ketiga adalah memang perizinan kurang ringkas. Sekarang ini memang pemerintahan pusat, Pak Jokowi sudah melakukan yang namanya reformasi dalam hal perizinan. Buktinya dengan diluncurkannya sebelum dia jadi presiden pun sudah ada yang namanya OSS. Dan memang sudah diringkas lagi sehingga perizinan itu diusahakan lebih ringkas. Tetapi ini kurang. Karena apa? Karena untuk menjadikan UMKM naik kelas tidak hanya dari sisi perizinan. Jadi banyak hal yang harus dilakukan secara simultan sehingga UMKM itu bisa menjadi naik kelas. Kemudian juga ada biaya yang namanya logistik atau misalnya katakanlah misalnya infrastrukturnya yang tidak memadai. Kita ketahui bahwa pemerintahan sekarang ini sudah sangat banyak mengeluarkan investasi, bahkan sampai melakukan yang namanya dana-dana dari luar dalam bentuk hutang pun itu dilakukan untuk membangun investasi, terutama yang investasi infrastruktur di luar Pulau Jawa itu sudah dilakukan. Tetapi sekali lagi bahwa untuk bisa naik kelas tidak hanya dari sisi infrastruktur, juga harus didukung oleh pelaku-pelaku UMKM itu sendiri. Jadi ada isu-isu strategis yang memang selalu kami sampaikan setiap kali ada kesempatan webinar, setiap kali kami melakukan koordinasi di daerah atau di pusat, adalah aspek legalitas usaha. Ini penting sekali supaya para pelaku-pelaku UMKM itu dapat melakukan suatu startup, suatu permulaan usaha untuk dia bisa dapat berkembang. Kemudian juga akses permodalan. Ini juga bagaimana supaya akses permodalan. Memang di satu sisi ada yang namanya katakanlah misalnya BMPK atau misalnya ada misalnya prudent daripada perbankan supaya tidak mengucurkan dana itu supaya tidak macet. Itu memang juga harus dipikirkan. Tetapi ada hal yang memang kita perlu UMKM ini dibina dan dibimbing supaya dia bisa layak untuk mendapatkan permodalan. Nah, inilah yang menjadi rumit ketika misalnya UMKM itu sendiri tidak memiliki akses terhadap poin-poin sehingga dia bisa naik kelas. Makanya Apmikindo ini dibentuk oleh para profesional seperti saya, kemudian para akademisi, kemudian para katakanlah misalnya pengusaha itu sendiri membentuk Apmikindo supaya bisa sebagai pembina UMKM itu sehingga UMKM itu pelan-pelan menjadi naik kelas seperti itu. Nah, ini saya tambahkan sedikit tadi setelah waktu presentasi yang di presenter pertama. Jadi UMKM sekarang itu harus bergerak ke pasar digital. Jadi teman-teman juga Bapak Ibu sekalian yang ada di webinar ini, saya nggak tahu apakah memang nanti ketika misalnya melakukan riset dan hasil riset itu memang dibutuhkan, maka bagaimana cara menjangkau customer, bagaimana cara menjangkau klien. Maka transformasi yang terjadi sekarang itu sudah terjadi shifting dari market space ke marketplace. Jadi Bapak Ibu yang ingin menjadi startup atau pelaku UMKM, lakukanlah transformasi UMKM di pasar digital. Karena data itu menunjukkan bahwa volume transaksi yang ada di pasar digital sangat besar sekali. Jadi seperti misalnya Gojek, Tokopedia, Shopee, Bukalapak, itu transaksi mereka jika dikumpulkan itu bisa sampai 63 miliar US dollar. Ini sangat potensi yang besar sekali, Bapak Ibu. Sementara kami sendiri pun sudah melakukan juga, kami membangun yang namanya Apmikindo Super Apps, mirip-mirip seperti Tokopedia, tapi konsep bisnisnya berbeda. Jadi anggota-anggota kami punya anggota itu yang bisa dikatakan klasternya itu yang favorit adalah agro, kuliner, pariwisata, kemudian industri kreatif seperti itu, dan juga jasa konsultan. Jadi ini adalah semacam overview kepada Bapak Ibu supaya ketika masuk di UMKM, masuklah ke pasar digital. Bapak Ibu, ini poin yang ingin saya sampaikan kepada Bapak Ibu. Dalam melakukan pekerjaan kami sebagai pembina, kami di Apmikindo punya yang namanya program kerja strategis. Jadi saya sebagai ketua DPP IT sudah melakukan banyak hal dan beberapa hal di sini untuk supaya UMKM itu bisa kami bina dan kami mandirikan. Yang pertama adalah kami membangun sejumlah digital platform. Jadi kami membangun yang namanya digital ecosystem. Apa itu? Yang pertama kami sudah membangun portal websitenya kami sendiri yaitu apmikindo.org. Jadi gunanya portal ini adalah tempat pertemuan untuk registrasi seluruh UMKM yang ingin kami bina. Jadi Bapak Ibu yang memang kebetulan saat ini ada di webinar, katakanlah punya ada usaha apapun itu, register sajalah ke di portal kami karena kami juga di sana ada yang melakukan namanya webinar, kemudian ada melakukan edukasi, ada melakukan yang namanya pendampingan, ada workshop itu ya. Kemudian yang terpenting adalah informasi yang datang dari pemerintah pusat dan daerah itu bisa terkolaborasi dalam satu grup chat yang ada di daerahnya masing-masing. Kemudian kami juga membangun yang namanya PPOB, Payment Point Online. Jadi seperti pembayaran online, pembelian pulsa, apa segala macam. Ada juga yang namanya security crowdfunding, gitu ya. Jadi security crowdfunding ini sudah ada peraturan POJK-nya bahwa UMKM itu bisa mendapatkan akses pendanaan dari masyarakat lewat security crowdfunding. Artinya secara gotong royong dana itu diberikan oleh masyarakat. Ini mirip seperti miniaturnya Bursa Efek Indonesia. Jadi kalau kalau kita jual saham atau split saham atau misalnya menawarkan saham-saham secondary itu bisa di Bursa Efek Indonesia. Nah, sekarang untuk UMKM dipermudah. Jadi bisa lending uang kepada UMKM lewat online. Contohnya itu seperti misalnya saya sebut saja merek salah satu misalnya seperti Tanifan, Mekar atau apa. Itu salah satu adalah manifestasi dari atau misalnya Pohon Tri itu seperti itu. Itu salah satu daripada manifestasi dari security crowdfunding. Kami punya koperasi. Koperasi dalam hal ini berfungsi sebagai wadah untuk teman-teman UMKM itu bertransaksi. Jadi koperasi berada di tengah untuk menghubungkan antara pembeli dan penjualnya seperti itu. Jadi kita create market di situ ya. Kemudian kami juga punya UMKM TV Show dan juga Kampus Merdeka. Jadi Bapak Ibu, program strategis kami yang kedua adalah kami ingin merekrut UMKM di seluruh provinsi yang ada di Indonesia, baik online pun maupun offline. Jadi makanya pada kesempatan ini saya minta kepada Profesor Riton, kalau bisa presentasi yang pertama saya ini saya bicara tentang UMKM, karena UMKM itu sendiri sangat penting ketika hasil-hasil riset dari kampus itu harus bisa dikomersialkan. Nah, bagaimana cara mengkomersialkan? Maka dibentuklah yang namanya organisasi bisnisnya seperti itu. Itu bisa dimulai daripada katakanlah misalnya UMKM bentukan pribadi masing-masing atau UMKM yang memang katakanlah misalnya dimonitor oleh kampus itu sendiri. Kemudian kami punya program kerja strategis tentang izin dan funding. Jadi Bapak Ibu, di setiap representasi kami yang ada di daerah, kami membentuk yang namanya Warung Apmikindo. Tugas daripada Warung Apmikindo ini adalah memastikan bahwa apabila ada anggota yang tidak mengerti cara mengakses perizinan, maka Warung Apmikindo siap membantu. Kami siap membantu bagaimana cara mengakses OSS, bagaimana cara mengakses PTMCP. Jadi itu gunanya supaya Warung Apmikindo itu membantu perizinan setingkat kabupaten kota ataupun misalnya di tingkat nasional melewati OSS yang dimiliki oleh pemerintah pusat. Kemudian kami program berikutnya adalah pengembangan SDM. Kami sudah melakukan banyak MOU dengan kampus-kampus karena seperti misalnya kampus USU. Harapan saya bahwa titipan dari Ketua Umum supaya barangkali bisa setelah ini kita melakukan MOU atau misalnya kerjasama supaya lebih terarah, lebih terorganisir. Bagaimana nanti misalnya tentu fokusnya adalah di pembinaan daripada UMKM itu sendiri. Karena Apmikindo punya tugas 4 pokok yang tadi yang saya sebutkan bahwa salah satunya adalah pembinaan. Jadi pembinaan itu kalau dari sisi kampus, kami membutuhkan kampus sebagai tenaga-tenaga pengajar atau misalnya tenaga-tenaga terdidik, bagaimana misalnya membuat packaging, bagaimana melatih sistem keuangan, bagaimana membuat cash flow. Tentu kampus-kampus yang ada di setiap daerah itu bisa berkolaborasi dengan perwakilan kami dalam membentuk dan membangun UMKM naik kelas seperti itu. Kemudian skill digital marketing, tentu seperti saya misalnya Ketua DPP IT, biasanya saya juga melakukan pelatihan-pelatihan jika diminta oleh suatu organisasi atau misalnya suatu badan gitu yang memang dia punya katakanlah anggota UMKM-nya. Biasanya kami juga ikut di situ kolaborasi melatih bagaimana meningkatkan skill digital marketing untuk UMKM seperti itu. Nah, ini yang saya sebut dengan produk dan pasar. Tentu kami hanya dari sisi guidance saja bagaimana produk dan pasar itu bisa matching dalam suatu rantai bisnis supply chains-nya. Seperti misalnya katakanlah USU di bagian kimia punya produk katakanlah misalnya ada komponen daripada baterai atau misalnya apapun itu, ketika ini mau di-matchingkan ke industri, maka kami bisa mendampingi bagaimana cara mematchingkannya sehingga nanti hasil-hasil riset tadi itu tidak sia-sia dan itu memang harus bisa dikomersialkan seperti itu. Salah satu yang sudah dilakukan oleh banyak teman-teman di asosiasi pengusaha mikro kecil ini adalah sekarang itu Bapak Ibu ini ada alokasi 40% pengadaan barang dan jasa itu diambil dari UMKM setempat. Misalnya begini, misalnya katakanlah misalnya di Sumatera Utara katakanlah misalnya pemerintahan daerah Sumatera sedang melakukan rapat, maka untuk kebutuhan konsumsi ataupun misalnya katakanlah misalnya souvenir itu tidak boleh lagi dibeli di luar dari Sumatera Utara. Jadi 40% pengadaan itu harus dialokasikan ke UMKM setempat. Ini menjadi berita baik karena ada prioritas supaya terjadi yang namanya UMKM tadi itu bisa naik kelas karena barang-barangnya terbeli dan terserap. Jadi tidak ada lagi proses-proses misalnya pembelian souvenir dari luar negeri. Jadi benar-benar semua dimanfaatkan bahwa UMKM itu bisa mensuplai kebutuhan daripada pemerintahan daerah dan pusat seperti itu. Nah ini Bapak Ibu saya sampaikan yang ada di slide kanan misalnya apa sih output daripada UMKM naik kelas? Jadi banyak kriteria UMKM naik kelas. Jadi itu UMKM naik kelas itu sangat besar sekali Bapak Ibu, sangat luas sekali. Jadi apakah kalau misalnya UMKM-nya berjualan di marketplace sudah naik kelas? Apakah misalnya akses permodalannya sudah bisa naik kelas? Nah, tentu ini ada parameter-parameternya. Kami membuat standar parameter ini sehingga nanti UMKM tadi yang menjadi binaan kami bisa tersertifikasi dengan baik. Apa kriteria kelas dan apa indikatornya sehingga dia dikatakan UMKM naik kelas. Jadi kami dalam rangka implementasi digital ekosistem, kami membuat yang namanya platform. Platform ini bertujuan untuk membantu dan meng-guide daripada UMKM supaya dia bisa sustain, dan supaya dia bisa bertumbuh. Jadi kami melakukan penguatan basis data UMKM, seperti misalnya webinar, course, workshop, kemudian kami juga memberikan yang namanya pelatihan-pelatihan, dan sekarang kami sudah membentuk namanya business club matching. Jadi business club ini adalah mempertemukan supply chain dalam suatu ekosistem yang sama antara pengusaha pemilik barang dan UMKM yang sebagai distributornya. Itu sudah kami lakukan. Dan business matching juga kami lakukan adalah untuk menjembatani angel investor dari pengusaha-pengusaha ke calon-calon UMKM yang ada di daerah maupun yang ada di pusat. Seperti itu. Jadi ini kami lakukan supaya mempercepat yang namanya UMKM naik kelas. Jadi kami menyebutnya di daerah itu adalah warung Apmikindo, ya. Jadi output daripada UMKM naik kelas itu ada profit, ada growth, ada sistem pembukuan yang baik, ada scalability, ada permodalan. Itu salah satu adalah bagian-bagian daripada UMKM itu naik kelas. Ini yang kami lakukan Bapak Ibu dalam rangka penguatan implementasi platform, ya. Jadi pertama adalah kami mempercepat pembentukan DPD dan DPC. Jadi DPD itu bisa dikatakan setingkat provinsi, itu stakeholdernya adalah dengan pemerintah provinsi, kemudian DPC itu dengan pemerintahan kabupaten kota. Kemudian kami memberikan kewenangan kepada daerah untuk supaya mereka bisa membuat MOU dan PKS strategis di daerah masing-masing. Kemudian kami lakukan konsolidasi. Dan juga kami membentuk yang namanya satuan-satuan tugas berupa staf khusus dalam bidang-bidang tertentu. Nah tujuannya apa? Ini adalah supaya mewujudkan UMKM mandiri yang berdaya saing. Meningkatkan daya saing, kemudian akses pasar domestik dan internasional, meningkatkan kompetensi, mempermudah usaha, seperti itu. Ini nanti slide-nya nanti bisa saya titip ke Profesor Rickson untuk bisa lebih banyak dieksplorasi. Jadi fokus kami adalah membangun digital ekosistem. Ini sangat penting sekali karena semua bergerak kepada digitalisasi. Ini kami lakukan Bapak Ibu sekalian. Ini yang saya sebut tadi bahwa kami sudah launching yang namanya Apmikindo Super App. Jadi izin Prof, kami memperkenalkan yang namanya Apmikindo Super App. Ini kami sampaikan bahwa dengan platform ini, Bapak Ibu bisa mengakses pasar secara digital, seperti itu. Ini tampilan-tampilannya seperti ini, proses bisnisnya, pendaftaran, marketplace-nya, kami sudah punya. Jadi ini alurnya nanti bisa dilihat di sini semua. Kemudian ada tampilannya. Kami juga terhubung dengan pendaftaran, sertifikasi halal, izin BPOM, NIB, segala macam. Ini yang tadi saya sebut adalah payment banking online. Nah, itu adalah materi nanti bisa saya sampaikan kepada audiens supaya nanti bisa didapatkan. Kemudian saya juga mau menyampaikan bahwa untuk mendownload daripada Apmikindo Super Apps itu ada di Play Store, ya, di Play Store. Ini tinggal download saja. Bapak Ibu tinggal daftar, kemudian Bapak Ibu sudah bergabung, nanti diverifikasi oleh administrator kami, sehingga nanti Bapak Ibu bisa bergabung dengan kami dan bisa mendapatkan layanan-layanan daripada Warung Apmikindo. Itu Prof, presentasi saya kita akan elaborasi tentang bisnis, tentang Apmikindo, tentang bagaimana membentuk UMKM supaya bisa berjalan dan bisa mematchingkan antara apa yang dimiliki oleh UMKM dengan apa yang ada dibutuhkan oleh pasar. Demikian Prof.
Ya, terima kasih Pak Elfin ya. Pak Elfin adalah praktisi ya. He is a practitioner. Scientists sometimes difficult to sell out their product, right? But Mr. Elfin may assist us how to sell out our product, right? Yeah. For example, we have a product from coconut. We sold out in the Shopee. Unfortunately, until now there's no buyer. Yeah. But we already tried. But tapi Pak Elfin ini only one touch. Dia bisa menjual produk kita ke berbagai negara. Ya. Nah, dan dia bisa mengemas produk kita. Jadi Bapak Ibu yang dosen, yang mahasiswa, kita beruntung Pak Elfin ada bersama kita. Silakan kalau ada yang mau ditanya, kesempatan ini bisa dimanfaatkan. Silakan. Ya, silakan Ibu Risma.
Terima kasih Pak Elfin, senang bertemu kembali.
Terima kasih Ibu.
Salam sehat ya Pak. Begini Pak, saya juga kan dosen pengampu mata kuliah Science and Entrepreneurship. Mahasiswa kita di Universitas Negeri Medan Pak, itu kan kalau dari Kemendikbud itu sering melakukan yang namanya program kreativitas mahasiswa, dan salah satu daripada skimnya itu adalah kewirausahaan. Jadi memang 3 tahun belakangan ini setelah Pak Nadiem memangnya sebagai Menteri Kemendikbud itu kan ada salah satu mata kuliah yang dimasukkan yakni kewirausahaan atau Science and Entrepreneurship. Mahasiswa-mahasiswa kita Pak, ya khususnya yang kimia ini, 3 tahun belakangan ini banyak mereka yang jadi bisa dikatakan dibiayai, awalnya dibiayai itunya proposalnya dan akhirnya menghasilkan suatu produk, dan produk-produknya itu kalau saya lihat itu sangat potensial sekali. Ya seperti mereka membuat cat warna untuk ulos, ya ulos itu kan etnik Sumatera Utara. Kemudian yang terbaru ini juga membuat kain tenun dengan motif ya, motif kimia. Cuman permasalahannya begitu tadi Pak, saya ingat benar waktu YCP 2021 Pak Elfin pernah menyatakan supaya produk-produk ini ya bisa ada marketnya, itu kan harus ada badan usahanya kan, seperti begitu ya Pak ya. Tapi sampai sekarang belum ada, sehingga sudah selesai kegiatannya, padahal kan produk-produk ini tadi sangat menjanjikan Pak. Itu jadi seperti apa ya, tidak terjual kan begitu. Ini tadi Pak Elfin ada menyatakan tadi mungkin ya Apmikindo ini bisa membantu Pak. Coba mungkin Bapak bisa memberikan Pak saran supaya produk-produk mahasiswa kita ini tadi yang kalau kita lihat itu sangat potensial sekali, ini bisa untuk diketahui oleh market.
Terima kasih Ibu.
Iya, terima kasih Pak.
Izin Prof bisa langsung dijawab saja.
Ya, silakan. Silakan.
Saya share lagi screen sedikit ya. Jadi kalau kita lihat di sini Bu, pertama ya, saya masuk ke aplikasi sedikit. Di sini ada yang namanya sinergi UMKM nasional, Bu. Jadi apa tugas kalau kita ngelihat data ini sekarang kita ngelihat data ini, Bu ya. Tugasnya adalah ketika saya melihat data, meregister jadi anggota Mikindo, saya bisa lihat potensi yang namanya di daerah sana potensinya apa. Sehingga saya paling gampangnya begini, Ibu. Jadi mohon maaf, kalau berbisnis paling gampang jadi pedagang dulu. Tapi saya sangat senang sekali apabila bisnis itu ditularkan atau dibentuk dari riset, Bu. Karena produk yang berasal dari riset biasanya langsung booming dia, boom gitu. Momentumnya jelas gitu. Kalau hanya pedagang kan hanya memindahkan tempat. Tetapi yang ingin saya sampaikan adalah kita bisa melihat potensi bisnis yang ada di daerah-daerah. Jadi kalau misalnya di sini ada katakanlah misalnya di provinsi, kemudian di kabupatennya mana, katakanlah misalnya seperti di Jawa Barat seperti itu ya. Kalau saya lihat di Jawa Barat, saya bisa lihat di kota-kota mana yang ada katakanlah misalnya UMKM-nya. Ini akan terlihat UMKM-nya semua, Bu. Ini kita lihat, oh ternyata dia bisnisnya ini seperti itu ya. Kemudian kita ada yang namanya cetak anggota. Di sini nanti ada cetak anggota. Seperti misalnya katakanlah misalnya Jawa Barat ya. Ini juga banyak seperti ini. Katakanlah misalnya kabupaten kota, Kabupaten Bekasi, kita bisa cetak di sini, Bu. Kita bisa cetak bisnisnya. Artinya ketika masuk sebagai anggota Mikindo, kami tugasnya adalah membina. Jadi begini, Ibu, berbisnis kalau mengandalkan riset dari kampus, idealnya memang kampus punya entitasnya. Kalau di ITB namanya LAPI, Bu. LAPI ITB, dan juga ada PIB-nya, pusat inkubatornya. Saya nggak tahu di USU apakah sudah ada pusat inkubator. Kalau ada pusat inkubator, itu akan menjadi sangat baik sekali. Jadi, tugasnya mahasiswa adalah di sisi sains, memproduksi barang dan jasa. Tugasnya asosiasi atau tugasnya badan tadi yang dibentuk adalah menghubungkan industrinya, termasuk juga menghubungkan pendanaannya, seperti itu. Sehingga ketika misalnya produknya jadi dan diminati oleh industri, ini pebisnisnya sudah ready dan pelaku industrinya sudah jadi. Artinya yang tadi dibentuk tadi, yang pusat inkubator tadi. Kalau ini bisa dibentuk di awal itu lebih bagus. Tetapi saya mau katakan begini, Ibu dan juga teman-teman, berbisnis kan tidak hanya tergantung orang lain. Bisa saja berbisnis dilakukan oleh pribadi lepas pribadi. Nah, jadi untuk gabung ke Amikindo tidak harus menjadi dosen, tidak harus menjadi mahasiswa, siapa saja boleh. Ya kan, ini kan kesempatan. Jadi dengan adanya join ke Amikindo minimal akan menambah banyak teman, minimal akan menambah banyak informasi. Kita juga bisa menawarkan barang dan jasa di platform itu. Sehingga ini akan memberikan kesempatan kita yang luas. Nah, kemudian kita masih bisa memanfaatkan platform yang lain seperti misalnya Shopee, Tokopedia. Sehingga tadi disampaikan oleh Pak Rison tadi, mereka punya satu account tapi until now there is no buyer-nya, dia bilang. Kan itu kan kenapa bisa terjadi seperti itu? Bisa saja memang nanti itu kita bicara digital marketing, bagaimana mempromosikan akun-akun tadi seperti itu. Jadi Ibu dan Bapak sekalian, mulailah dari diri sendiri bagaimana meng-create bisnis sehingga nanti bisnis itu bisa menjadi berjalan seperti itu. Itu Bu yang bisa saya bantu. Jadi daftar saja dulu ke kami. Nanti makanya hopefully after this presentation kita mudah-mudahan bisa membuat semacam MOU dengan DPD Sumatera Utara dengan USU. Jadi kami memberikan kewenangan itu supaya orang-orang hebat yang ada di USU ini bisa masuk ke dalam kami dan kami pun bisa mengakses seperti itu, Bu. Jadi kita sinergi, kolaborasi gitu kira-kira.
Saya dari Universitas Negeri Medan, Pak, juga boleh ya?
Ya, boleh Bu, boleh. Oh, Bu. Bos bisa, Bu. Kita udah punya Bu kantor DPD Sumatera Utara di Jamin Ginting. Nanti saya bisa minta kontak personnya Ibu dan saya akan minta ketua kami untuk menghubungi Ibu supaya bisa menjajaki apakah memungkinkan kita melakukan MOU. Ini ada pertanyaan di chat, Prof.
Ya, silakan. Silakan Pak Elfin.
Ya, pertanyaannya apakah topik kali ini mesti bertemakan bisnis yang berhubungan dengan produk teknologi hasil inovasi dosen? Sebenarnya tidak harus Bapak, jadi apapun itu bisa. Tetapi saya katakan sekali lagi bahwa kalau kita punya produk yang hasil sains, itu akan lebih momentumnya lebih berasa dibanding kita hanya menjual produk sebagai supply chain saja. Jadi dari luar, nah kalau pertanyaan kedua, apakah boleh di luar inovasi dosen usul? Nah ini harus dijawab sama Prof. Rickson nanti. Tapi pada saat kami open Pak, kami terbuka. Makanya kami selalu sampaikan bahwa semakin banyak kita bersinergi akan semakin lebih cepat kita menghasilkan suatu value chain itu kira-kira. Kemana mau daftar? Ini tadi Pak yang di, oh ya ya, ini saya kasih yang di portalnya Pak sebentar. Ini Pak ya, saya type at the chat box ya, ini di sini saja Pak. Pertanyaan kedua adalah apakah sudah terbentuk Amikindo yang di daerah Sumatera Utara? Sudah Pak, sudah terbentuk Pak. Nanti saya kasih Pak. Saya kasih izin Prof, bisa saya tuliskan nomor handphone saya supaya nanti bisa di poin nanti saya kasih ya.
Silakan. Pak Siotang ini banyak temuannya ini Pak Elfin.
Iya, itu Pak. Nanti kami akan coba konekin dengan perwakilan kami Pak. Jadi kalau untuk daftar, Bapak bisa langsung ke pusat. Tapi nanti kalau misalnya ada diskusi atau misalnya mau melakukan pembicaraan, bisa dengan perwakilan kami Pak yang ada di Sumatera Utara. Kira-kira begitu Pak.
Oke, baik. Masih ada yang mau ditanyakan? Oke. Ya. Oke. Finally, we have to close this session, right? Terima kasih Pak Elfin ya buat kontribusinya. Ya. Oke. Selanjutnya I invite Ibu Prof. Yatimah to in front of this room. We have a souvenir from our university, and Pak Elfin, you have to come to University of Sumatera Utara to directly receive the souvenir from our rector. Yeah. Again, next time we invite you. Yeah. Now only symbolic to Pak Elfin. Yeah. Okay. Before we close, we will give a souvenir to Ibu Yatimah and also Pak Elfin. Okay. Depan aja Bu. Ya. Ya. Thank you so much. This is from our university, our rector. So, to give you souvenir, this is a pen, okay, and this is a thermos. Yeah. So not good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, Bapak Ibu. Okay. Once again, thank you so much for your joining, your precious time, as well as good attendance. You attend the fully this session WCP program 2022. This is the third and the last time for me to be participants in WCP, because already 3 times, 2020, 2021, and 2022. I give this golden chance to the others to attend this program. Hopefully, this year already 3 participants succeed to win this competition. Yeah, of course, this competition is very tightly. You have to try to be a winner for this program. Yeah, hopefully next year there are 5 at least from University of Sumatera Utara can be win this title competition. And this program is very reputable due to only around 3 until 5% you will be win for this competition. Of course, this is very tough. And this program depend on your WCP. Yeah. If your quality, if you choose not so high quality of WCP, of course you will be fail for this program. So that's why collaboration is very important, and to make sure that you can be recognized by your WCP. Yeah, I am very lucky Professor Yatimah recognized me to join with this program. Without her, of course, I cannot attend this program. Bapak Ibu, ini adalah kesempatan bagi kita semua dosen untuk mengikuti program ini ya. Dan program ini sangat ya precious lah. Of course, not so much and huge money you can obtain from this program, but more than money you can obtain from this program because you have a new collaborator to support your future research. Ya, itu poinnya. Mencari kolaborator itu tidak mudah. Saya berharap tahun-tahun depan Bapak Ibu mau mengapply. Once again, thank you for 2 inspirative speaker today. Elfin, success for your work and for your future. And also Ibu Prof Yatimah, thank you so much for your coming and joining directly, physically in this WCP program. Pak Ron dan semua kolega yang telah bergabung, terima kasih. Kita masih punya waktu lagi, ya, hari Rabu dan Jumat. Kami berharap kita semua masih bisa bergabung, dan khusus untuk member Universitas Sumatera Utara, ya, staf dosen dan pimpinan, besok Selasa kita akan mengikuti public lecture yang akan disampaikan oleh Ibu Prof Yatimah tentang strategi mencapai world class university. Ya, world class university tidak semudah membicarakannya atau mengucapkannya. Dibutuhkan komitmen yang kuat secara funding, secara kualitas sumber daya manusia. Nah, itu besok akan dibahas. Kami mohon Bapak Ibu pimpinan bisa bergabung di ruang senat Universitas Sumatera Utara. Akhirnya kita akan berpisah untuk sesaat dan bertemu di acara yang akan datang. Kalau ada jarum yang patah, jangan patahkan jarum yang lain. Kalau ada salah kata, jangan katakan ke orang lain. Sukses selalu buat kita. Sampai ketemu. Keep healthy dan keep spirit. Thank you.